Right guys, we're back. Right, what I'm going to try and show you today is how to elasticate a top kit on your pole. Now, top kits vary. Some of them have side pullers, some of them have rollers, and some of them just have a bung, a straight bung in the bottom. The one I'm elasticating today is a side puller kit. If you've got just a bung, it's just as easy. It's basic all the way until I'm doing the puller. But yeah, if you're trying to figure out what knots to do, dead simple, overhand knots, figure 8 knots, really easy to do. And what you need is basically your top kit, some scissors, your elastic, which mine is a 6 to 9 match elastic. Really, it's quite a light elastic for this kit. That's for like skimmers, bream, roach, perch, that kind of thing. You're going to want some connectors for your line. Now these are Dacron connectors. These go on the end of the pole, what your line or rig attaches to. You can use other kind of adapters, which are sleeve adapters, which is where basically you tie the elastic into that, through that hole, tie it on with that sleeve, goes over the top of the knot, and then you put your rig on the little point at the bottom there. So there's many ones, but I prefer the Dacrons. I just find they're a bit more easy to use, easier to connect, not as much slippage, things like that. And of course for the puller kit you want some puller beads. So puller beads are just for the side kits, pulling back on it so you can take control of the fish or the fight, whichever one you prefer. So I'm going to try and get started, see how easy this goes. And the first thing you want, you can rig them from the top down or from the bottom up. When I've got this kind of a puller kit, which is what's in the map pole, it's a straight puller kit. So basically your elastic goes from the hole straight up. On other ones they've got a roller in them, so the elastic comes down around the roller and then back out through the puller. And if it's a bung, it just comes straight down, ties it to the bung, and that's it. So we're going to give it a go anyway, so I'll get the elastic out of here. So you normally get elastics in 3 metre lengths, just like that. So what we'll do is get the elastic out first, make sure there's no knots or tangles in it, get it all out straight. You can pre-stretch these just to make sure they're tight and stretchy, so you're not getting slippage of how tight or loose your rigs are when you're fishing. But first off, the fiddly bit, but it's the easier bit, if you will, is locate your top kit hole, get plastic flying around, and put your elastic through it. Now it's going to come straight down the pole. Now this one shouldn't be too bad because it is quite a thin diametered elastic. If we get it wrapped around like that, it should just feed relatively straightforward and through. It's just getting it around that first bend, and then we're off. Now you have got a diamond eye threader, I'll show you that in a bit, and that's what helps you do the finicky bits of elasticating. So you're just feeding it through all the time, a little bit at a time, until it comes out the thin end of the base section. It shouldn't take too long. Bear with me, it's going through nicely. Now if you were doing this without a puller kit, you'd just thread it from the base straight through, or from the top straight down. If I didn't have a puller kit in it, I'd probably go from the top down, because the top piece is the most finicky bit. That should be close now to coming out the end. Shouldn't be far, there she is. There's the elastic coming out, so pull it through. Not all the way, because I've of course got this bit here. And what I'll do now, where I've got this piece at the puller kit, just to secure it so I know it's not going to go anywhere, I'm going to get me puller bead, which is a little pinky bit. Is it? Oh wait, no, I'm not going to use a pink one. What am I talking about? I'm going to use green. All the beads are the same size, all your puller beads are the same size, it's the connectors that are different. And this is where you want either a gated needle that you'd use for carp fishing, or a bit of line, or one of these, which is a diamond eye threader. It's just a piece of very thin wire, and what it has on the end of it is a little diamond cut eye which traps your elastic, so you can pull it through, a bit like I say, like a baiting needle. And what you want to do with your bead is you want the thin end closest to the pole. There's a wide hole and a thin hole. You want the thin hole closest to the pole. So put your diamond eye threader through the bead so it's on your actual wire. Then get your elastic, put that through the diamond eye, trap it, pull it down like that, and it's trapped in that wire. It ain't going to go nowhere. Just thread your bead on. Just like doing a hair rig. Thread it on. So it's there. Bead's on the elastic now. Like that. Now, I'm just going to, for the sake of it, I'm just going to tie a figure 8 knot in that, so that I know the bead ain't going to shoot off anywhere. Whenever you tie knots in elastic, it's important that you lubricate it. A, to stop it burning and cutting, and you should use a proper elastic lube. You can get them. Let's do that. And make sure you pull them good and tight, really good and tight, because the last thing you want are these knots giving way and slipping, because otherwise that's the loss of your elastic, and it's probably the loss of your fish and your rig, so you don't want that to happen. But anyway, that's on there now. I'm not going to cut it or trim it, but that's the bead tied on there. So now I've got all this elastic that's got to go through the other part of the kit. So I'll rest that there and get the tip section. Now the best way to do the tip section, because it can be finicky, is to get your diamond eye threader again. Be helpful if I got the other end. And just thread that down the tip. So I've got a little bit of rug here just to stop me from damaging the pole. So get the diamond eye part, the other part's a flat part. Just thread it down the tip. Like that. Now this will go down really easy. What it is, if I was to try and put the elastic from the bottom through, it might catch on the PTFE, and it can be a bit of a pain to get it through the very end of the tip. So just do that. Dead easy. That's it. It's come through the other end now. Grab the diamond eye. Don't pull it all the way through, because you still want to hold on to that. Get the end of my elastic again. In through the diamond eye. Trap it. From the butt end, so it comes back out through the tip. Like that. And get your top kit, and you want to, if you can, just move your hands around a bit. Quite awkward that now. Hold your elastic fairly tight. Put your top kit together. Like that. There we go. Make sure you're not trapping the elastic. Put that back down. Where will we put it? We'll put it over there a minute. Just move that rug over a bit. So I'm not hurting anything. There we go. So there's the elastic coming out the tip. And what you want to do now, take off the diamond eye. Just dead easy, like I say, it just traps it and pulls it through. And get your connector. Now, like I say, I'm using the Dacron connector. And this is a Drennan one. These are really, really easy to attach because they come on a little bar. So they've got a little loop in the Dacron, like that. See it? That's the actual Dacron connector. And that loop, you're going to put that onto the elastic. So just get the end of your elastic like that and put the loop over it. Like that. Right? And don't over tighten it yet. It's on there. And what you want to do then is get your elastic and just give it a few pulls like that down to your puller bead, and you're finding out where the tension is. So because you're going to have waste elastic, you will have. Give it a few pulls and just make sure you've got it springing back so it's coming to the tip like that. You don't want any elastic hanging down when you've got it all nice and prepped, because otherwise you're going to bump fish off when you strike. So you're just finding that bit of tension in your elastic, like once you find that tension point, you don't want it too tight because you want to have your elastic as your playability. Like that there. Right, and all you're going to do is a single overhand knot in the elastic. Like that. Make sure when you do this knot, it is tight. It needs to be tight. Really good and tight. There we go. Like that. And then what you do is, where your dacron connector is, you're going to tighten that down to it, the loop, so it's just behind the knot. So I can show you. Like that. There's the knot there where my thumb is, and there's the dacron connector there, and we're just going to tighten it down to it really good and proper, like that. So once it's tightened down to it just behind the knot like that, you can then pull that little greeny part over the knot. So would have been if I'd have done that right. That's just me getting in the way of things and trying to stop the wind from blowing everything around. Don't worry, that's just my finicky fingers have just knocked the bead off where it should have been. I'm just having to re-tension that. Right behind the knot, can't go anywhere. There we go. Pull my dacron connector bead over the knot, and then any excess that you've got, because of course I've got all this excess elastic I don't need, you just trim it off. Make sure it's enough to fit nicely into the end of your pole. If you think you've still got a bit of a trim there, then trim off a little bit more. You don't want it, like I say, you don't want that knot to slip, so it shouldn't slip. Simple as. If that knot slips, you've done a bad knot. Inside. There we go. And that's that. There's your dacron connector on the end of your pole. Alright, tie your rig to that, and as you can see, ping straight back. So that's nice and tensioned. And all you have to do then is go back down to your puller bead where you tied it earlier, like that, and basically trim it off. Again, I've got a double overhand knot on there, so that's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to trim it. Always leave a little bit sticking out, like that. Nearly. I always just leave a little bit of a haircut on it, and it's just so it's easier to grab if need be. And there's your puller kit, rigged up and ready to use. Put a rig on and get fishing. That's how easy they are to do. You can do it bankside if you needed to, if you ever bring spare elastics with you. There, let's say puller kit to show you it's really tensioned. Straight back, nice and tight. And that's how easy it is to do a top kit with your elastic. Now, fair enough, like I say, that's a puller kit, but all kits are basics. You know, you can do it a range of ways. And hopefully, I'll get to try that out on Monday when I go for some cruisions and that. I might just try this kit out. I have just done the other power kit, and I've done that with a much stronger elastic. I've done that with 14s elastic, 12 to 14, and that one's going to be carb, ranging from £5 if I go to anywhere like a Stafford or maybe even onto Martins or Woodder. got a match size carp there for 2 to 5 pounders and up to 10 pounders that will handle them really fairly easily. And we'll see how it goes. There you go, lads, quick little how to. Tight lines.